Okay, let's talk about something huge that's happening right under our noses. There's this fundamental deal, this social contract between you and the government, and it's being rewritten. And the thing doing the rewriting? Artificial intelligence.
To really get our heads around this, we have to start with a pretty powerful question about who you are, or at least who the government thinks you are now that it's armed with all this new tech. I mean, really stop and think about that for a second. What if that traditional role, being a voter, a taxpayer, isn't the full story anymore? What if AI has created this brand new lens for power to see you through? A lens that changes how you're valued and even how you're managed. This isn't some far-off sci-fi stuff. It's a deep, fundamental shift in how power works. And believe me, it is happening right now. Now, to really understand just how radical this new world is, we first have to take a quick look back at the old arrangement. You know, the deal that's pretty much defined societies for centuries. It was a pretty straightforward transaction, right? You did your part, you fulfilled your civic duty, you paid your taxes, and in return, the state gave you the basics for a stable life: security, a set of guaranteed rights, and all those public services we rely on, like roads and schools. Your main job title in this whole arrangement was simply citizen. And when you put the old deal next to the new one, whoa, the difference is just night and day. In the old deal, you were a citizen. You pay taxes, you got rights. Simple. In the new deal, you're more of a participant, or maybe even a user. And your contribution? It's not just your money anymore. It's your data, your engagement. The promise isn't just basic security, it's personalization and efficiency. It's a totally different kind of trade. So you have to ask, what caused this massive change? What was so powerful that it could rewrite a contract that's been in place for hundreds of years? Well, it really all comes down to AI, and the fact that AI is constantly, insatiably hungry for one specific thing. And it all plays out in this really simple chain reaction. First, AI systems need just enormous amounts of data to work. Second, all of our daily activity online, everything we click, search for, and post, creates exactly that data. Then, governments look at this and have a light bulb moment. This data is a new, incredibly valuable resource. And that right there, that's the pivot point. The goal starts to shift away from just collecting taxes to actively harvesting our participation. Now, this change isn't just about technology or economics. It goes deeper. It's psychological. It actually starts to change how we see ourselves and how the systems all around us see us too. Your whole identity starts to kind of shift. You're not just a citizen anymore. You're an active participant. And as a participant, the systems start to reward your performance, your productivity, your engagement, your skills. You become more and more valued for the data you produce. But here's the craziest part. This new kind of control doesn't feel like some heavy-handed government rule. It feels convenient. It feels like a personalized service or a helpful suggestion from an algorithm. It's control, but it's all wrapped up in convenience. Okay, but this new logic, it isn't just happening between you and the government. It's scaling up, big time. It's starting to completely transform geopolitics and the very idea of what a country even is. And that gives rise to this really powerful new idea, the platform state. I want you to just imagine for a second that a country operates less like a traditional nation and more like a giant tech company, like a Google or an Apple. It's competing for users, who in this case are citizens, by trying to offer a better platform. Its most valuable assets aren't just land or natural resources anymore. They're data, talent, and innovation. And the consequences of this are just huge. Global competition becomes this race for the smartest people and the best ideas. Your personal data, your skills, they actually start to be seen as national assets. This could completely change what citizenship even means. Maybe it becomes digital or conditional on what you contribute, or maybe we even see different tiers of citizenship with different levels of access. And the law of the land? It starts to feel a lot less like a constitution and a lot more like those terms of service that you scroll past and click "I agree" on without even reading. So, all of this brings us right to the core of the issue, the central dilemma, the real tension at the heart of this entire transformation. So here's the New Deal in a nutshell. We're now being guided and managed by algorithms in ways that are totally different from old school politics. But at the very same time, our participation, our data, our engagement has become a brand new form of power. So which is it? Is this a good deal or a bad one? I mean, on one hand, you could say it's empowering. By contributing your data and your skills, you might be gaining a kind of ownership stake in the system, right? Getting hyper-personalized services, or maybe even a direct say in how things are run. But on the other hand, it could be a massive risk,
a subtle, quiet chipping away of your freedom as you're constantly being measured, tracked, and nudged by invisible algorithms. And this leads us to the final, defining question of this new era. When your value to the state is directly tied to your performance, what are you? Are you still a citizen with certain guaranteed inalienable rights? Or are you becoming something more like a shareholder, where your dividends, your better services, your influence, your opportunities are tied directly to how much you contribute? That right there is the question that the age of AI is forcing every single one of us to answer.